Okay, I'll go ahead and get started. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome. My name is Katherine Jackson, and I serve as the VetFax representative to Virginia ACTE. I'm delighted to have you with us today as we take a closer look at the VBQ5 system and how it supports quality improvement across early childhood programs in Virginia. It's my pleasure to introduce our presenter, Lucy Mitzner. Lucy is the Improvement Strategy Lead in the Office of Early Childhood Quality at the Virginia Department of Education. In her role, she guides the development and implementation of improvement supports for programs participating in the VQB5, helping ensure that the early childhood educators across the Commonwealth have the tools and resources that they need to thrive. We're grateful to have her expertise with us today. As you participate in today's session, please add any questions that you have to the chat, and we will address them at the conclusion of Lucy's presentation. Also, this session is being recorded so that it can be made available for those who were unable to attend today's live session. So please join me in welcoming Lucy Mitzner.
Thank you so much, Catherine, and thank you so much to the VetFax folks for having me join today. I am thrilled to be with you all. As Catherine mentioned, I am Lucy Mitzner. I am the Improvement Strategy Lead here in our Office of Early Childhood Quality and representing our division of Early Childhood Care and Education. And so if I can screen share, I will pull up my slides. Um, okay. Oh, I think you may need we're seeing a very cute puppy dog, but you may need to stop sharing, Heather. Oh, well, you want to drive my slides? That'd be great. That'd be perfect. Thank you so much.
Yes, we're experiencing technical difficulties.
That's okay. Happy to do that. And so here I am. I'm here to provide an overview of our Virginia Quality Birth to Five, known as VQB5. In the education world, we love acronyms, right? And so that is our acronym for our system. You can see here that we are actually, here we are today. This is our unified Virginia Quality Birth to Five system. As I mentioned, we also will be having two other sessions this spring in April, one in April and May, and we would encourage you all to sign up. This is a collaboration, as I mentioned, with across the VDOE and VetFax, and so we want to provide information to better support you all in your coursework and supporting our future educators of tomorrow. And so with that, I will jump into our objectives and agenda. Next slide. So today we want to ensure, and for those who are listening to the recording, we want to ensure that after you finish this recording, that you understand more about the purpose and goals of our Virginia Quality Birth to Five system, our VQB5, and really understand it fully, understanding the participation requirements and the coordination of the whole system, who coordinates it, to learn about the different components of the system and what we measure in the system and how it ultimately will connect to the coursework that you all are supporting for those young teachers of our future in high school scenarios and classes. And then have the opportunity to reflect and ask any questions that you have about the information. We have a short session today, but we will be coming to the summer conference session, and so your questions today and in feedback surveys prior to that session in the summer will really help shape how we continue to share and deepen your understanding about this topic. And so, as you can see for our agenda, we'll talk a little bit about the shared vision and purpose of VQB5. We'll talk about the participation and coordination, the two different measurements, interactions, and curriculum use. And then we'll talk about how we put that together for VQB5 quality ratings. And then we'll have a little bit of wrap up and hopefully some time for questions or discussion. So on the next slide, you can see a common slide that many of us use in the Department of Ed. And so we have this shared vision in our Office of Early Childhood Care and Education across the office where we envision a total Virginia that has all children having those opportunities to enter school ready. And so our work focuses primarily on that birth to five, that time frame, that critical time frame in a child's life. And through this true north that we often say is our North Star, that beautiful future where we see all children having the opportunity to enter school ready. This means that families have a variety of high quality and affordable options that they can choose from to send their children, if they so choose, for those early learning experiences. And so we envision that as part of that future goal. We want to ensure that all programs are measured and supported to improve and rewarded for that continuous improvement. And so our system is actually a quality measurement and improvement system. There are many other states that have a quality rating and improvement system. Ours is categorized as a quality measurement and improvement system because we are constantly measuring, supporting to improve, and then really having that celebration and reward for that continuous improvement and that focus. And then part of this vision is also that parents and families can go to work or school and meet their family's needs. So whatever the goal, whatever the interest is of that particular family and the needs, that they are met in this system, that children have that opportunity to enter school ready. So on the next slide, we actually start off with a little bit of data that we can share specific to school readiness in Virginia. And in our field, we have a wonderful wealth of data and information that actually is collected in the fall each year. And so this data is actually from an assessment called the Virginia Kindergarten Readiness Program. And so at the start of kindergarten. This data is collected for every kindergartner to understand a little bit more about how children are coming, walking through that kindergarten door, and understanding their readiness. And so you can see that there is some need across Virginia here. And you can see there are five bars on this screen. To orient you to this chart, the blue bars are the percentage of kids through this assessment that met the benchmark that we have for the start of the kindergarten program year. And so you can see that there was 57% that did meet the benchmark that came to kindergarten ready. However, there is a large gap of the overall children coming through those kindergarten doors of 43% that are coming not ready, and they need to build those skills. And you can see across the different subtests, literacy, math, self-regulation, and social skills, that the readiness varies, but the overall readiness is the furthest column on the left, and that is what we look at to measure and see year over year what types of impact will we have in the early childhood years on that school readiness. So on the next slide, you can see also that this is what we are looking for in our system, that we know that these two quality indicators from research that shows us that these stimulating, warm, and supportive responsive interactions, so interactions is one of those measures between teachers, educators, and children, and the effective use of high quality curriculum that is aligned with our developmentally appropriate practice. And in Virginia, we have the Virginia Early Learning and Development Standards. And so high quality curriculum and those warm, responsive interactions result in improved school readiness. And so we know that these are the two indicators of quality that we wanted when we set the system up to measure in VQB5. And so we do this in every single infant, toddler, and preschool classroom. And these are nationally recognized indicators. So we want to ensure that the measurements that we gather from our system are understandable across any state, any site type, any stakeholder type teacher, site program leader, superintendent, anyone who is interacting and understanding or trying to understand our system, it's easily and it's very clear, it's easy to see. So we have interactions, and that's measured by a specific tool called the Classroom Assessment Scoring System, or as the acronym states, the CLASS. It is a little bit confusing when we talk about a class here or a class there, but this is a class observation, and it's a measurement tool that we use in every single classroom, birth to 5 in our system. And then we look at if a site reports using a VDOE approved curriculum that is in alignment with the early learning and development standards. On the next slide, um, this is also part of our system, and so we developed this. It is codified into state law, VQB5 is. It was a law that went into effect in 2020, and we had a couple of practice years, and we are currently in our third year of VQB5. But in order to ensure that readiness for kindergarten, BQB5 was established. It helps to recognize the impact of every educator, provides feedback, actionable feedback throughout the program year to every educator, and then recognizes the impact of classrooms and really supports all of the publicly funded birth to 5 programs to improve. So if any program accepts public funds is serving birth to 5 children, so any children not yet in kindergarten, they are required by state law to participate. And there are private programs, they have the option to participate, but this is really to support this system that ensures that every child has quality teaching and learning experiences that meet each of their unique needs. You can see on the next slide that our site participation spans across every city and county in Virginia. This includes all different program and site types. So it includes public school classrooms, preschool classrooms. It includes Head Start classrooms, family childcare or in-home family day homes, and childcare centers across the state in every single city and county, which is very exciting to see this span across the map. And you can see the different clusters of denser population of the different types of programs on this map here. So on the next slide, you wonder, how do we coordinate? Oh, one more in between there, sorry. That's okay, you can stick on that one. I've forgotten I put this one in here. So this upcoming slide, you can go to the next one, Heather. Thanks so much. Oops, one back. There we go. The participation requirements. So in order to participate in VQB5, to meet the requirement of all publicly funded programs required to participate in VQB5, there are 3 activities that must be completed for each program year that they participate. The first is to register in Link B5 and provide information about their site and classrooms and teachers, child enrollment information, and if they're using a curriculum through the completion of different profiles that are on the Link B5 site. So this happens typically in the fall every year, and that provides a wealth of data and information for the state to support the use of this data in improvement efforts, as well as participation and understanding the workforce as well. The second requirement is to participate in 2 what we call local class observations, and that means they are completed at a local or regional level, at one in the fall and then one in the spring to really measure and show growth. And that those scores are inputted into our database, which is called Link B5. So again, link birth to five, if you like those acronyms as well. And then the third element is to participate in addition to those local observations, an external, at least one external or third party outside observation for each age level that's served throughout the entirety of the program year. And so it provides additional feedback to sites and programs about their practice and also shares that information um, with the state about consistency and validity and compares that local level score to an external point of view where there may not be somebody who you can be tied to the program to conduct local observations. And so those scores are then compared and you have wonderful picture, a really well-rounded picture of what's happening in that particular program, in those sites, and what children are experiencing in those programs. So on the next slide, you may be wondering how we coordinate that very large lift of local observations. And the local observations are conducted and coordinated by the READY regions. We have 9 READY regions across the state. It's slightly different than the superintendent regions, which you may be more familiar with, but the Ready regions encompass every city and county across the state. And so the Ready Regions website has it all broken out by county. And I know that if you are listening in, you can see it on your screen, listening to the recording. If you're here with us live today, you can sort of identify where your county is of which programs that you support. So on the next slide, we are going to do a quick poll, but in the interest of time, I'd love for you all to locate where you are in the Ready Regions map here and just note that for yourself so that you are aware. And if you'd like to connect with your Ready Region primary point of contact, I'd be more than happy to connect you after the webinar. So moving on to the next slide. Oh, great, Catherine. Yeah, you are an 8. That's right. Um, so let's talk a little bit about the two elements that we measure in VQB5. So on the next slide, I talked a little bit about the classroom assessment scoring system is what it stands for. And it's a tool that has 3 different age level tools that we utilize in VQB5, and they are measuring the quality of teacher-child or educator-child interactions that are needed to promote learning and development within each of these specific age bands. And so there's an infant, a toddler tool, and a pre-K tool. And these are all before kindergarten, so prior to kindergarten, up until age 5. The Ready regions actually provide free class training for participating VQB5 programs. I've included a slide in the appendix of these slides that actually lists some of the free and available resources about class if you'd like to look into it further or share this as part of your coursework with your students. This is a great way to have them learn about effective and high quality teacher-child interactions. So on the next slide, you can see that we use this tool in particular to understand what children are experiencing in the classrooms that they are attending at these programs. And so when observations are happening across the fall and the spring in every classroom, there's that opportunity to get a full picture of the entire year and the growth that happens from the fall to the spring, providing program leaders and educators alike a picture. It paints a wonderful picture of what children are experiencing. On the lower end, are children experiencing, if there are low scores, those lower quality interactions, or on the higher end, or are they mid-range scores? So the class tool really helps paint that picture and provide the opportunity for reflection and feedback. Uh, on the next slide, This really gives, I won't read every detail, but you can see here that some of this is an example of infant toddler classrooms, and that blue continuum sort of overlaid on top, talking about the different scores. And so you can see if you walked into a classroom, or if one of your students walked into a classroom and there was little eye contact, or nobody was smiling, rare smiles, or the teacher was disengaged. There was very limited language. There's lots of silence in an infant or toddler classroom. That wouldn't feel good. That would indicate to us that there are lower quality interactions happening, and that would fall into that 1.00 to 2.99. And you can see the progression of those experiences moving up the scale. We prioritize in VQB5 any classroom that receives a total class score of 3.99 or lower for state-funded coaching services. So we know that those experiences are not what we want for those children in those programs. And so we want to better support the leaders and the teachers in that site and that classroom to get the support and resources that they need to help improve. The next slide is actually the pre-K version. I won't read these, but I will, you can see some of the similarities on the screen. And I would encourage you to read through these and actually talk about them potentially with your students. This may be a really great resource to engage. Yes, you can definitely get access to the slides. Thanks for asking that question. So this will be available to you afterwards so that you'll be able to take a closer look through the information that we're sharing here. On the next slide, you can see that, oh, actually, I thought I had put it in the appendix, but here are some great foundational class resources. These are more like introductions, or there's a what is class information sheet, or for different leaders, there's a why. Why do we do class? It's a free ebook for leaders to read through. So some of these are really helpful, supportive ways to become more informed about what the tool of class is and what it is measuring. And there's always availability for resources if you connect with your Ready region, if you'd like to have additional information added. The to the this chart here, or if you'd like to connect with them about coming in and doing an overview of class. And I think I just may have answered Catherine's question. So if there's a way to get some training in class, to have people walk through or talk about class, I think a Ready Region partner is a wonderful way to connect what you might need and maybe custom or tailor um, that information, customize that information for what you might need in the class. I'm also happy to talk about it with you after this webinar. But yes, I would love to talk about it with you. So on the next slide, we go a little bit into curriculum. And so going to the next slide about curriculum, this is very basic. What is curriculum? We know that it is something that is taught in a classroom. You all have extensive curriculum and syllabi that you use with your students, but in an early childhood classroom, it really is a critical element to supporting that development and that growth and that school readiness element to have those children ready for kindergarten. So it's basically what is taught in a classroom and how they will learn it and how that progress will be measured. It has many, many supports for teachers. So curriculum includes lesson plans and materials. Yes, that's right. And learning goals, and can support what is happening, what that plan is to teach. And then curriculum helps keep track of that learning. So many curricula come with assessment tools to help teachers really know what is happening at different time points and select activities to meet those unique needs that are demonstrated through that progress tracking. So on the next slide, you can see we've included what that means in VQB5. And so in VQB5, we know that using quality curriculum helps support that higher level thinking, the learning, and the quality interactions, that social emotional piece across all types of programs, every single type of program in VQB5. Curriculum is a very powerful tool that can really support strengthening those teacher-child interactions that are happening. It is not required, however, for participation in VQB5 or to receive an overall quality rating. So it is optional in VQB5. It is two things that we do measure. And so when we measure it, if it is available if it's in use in at least one classroom this year in the program, that results in an additional 100 points towards their quality rating. So towards that overall site quality rating. We asked that it's reported by the end of the program year, which is May 31st of every year. And actually, beginning in the upcoming year, sites will be required to use that approved curriculum in every classroom, not just at least one, if they want to receive that 100 additional points. So there's no change in calculation for this year, but we know it is such a critical piece that was a change that was proposed by our advisory council committee, the Early Childhood Advisory Committee, that is a part of our Virginia Board of Education. And so that was put into place and approved, not this year, but past year. And so that is going to be happening in the upcoming VQB5 program year. It's always a choice, it's always optional. But for this year, to use it in at least one classroom will result in that additional 100 points. And then next year, it needs to be in every classroom to receive those 100 points. So on the next slide, you can see that having a high quality curriculum really does connect to class and interactions. And so all high quality curriculum and the class framework work together to promote that goal of positive outcomes for children, and that all of the domains, all of the different components of class connect to all of those quality curriculum options. So you can see some examples here of how the quality curriculum component connects to a class dimension or one of the sort of subcomponents of a specific tool, either infant or toddler or pre-K. And then I think we jump into, on our next slide, the quality ratings. So you've heard me mention them a few times. And so this past fall, we released just under 3,300 quality profiles that contained the quality results that were calculated from the 2024-2025 program year. And we have a website that is publicly available for anybody to view and look at those quality profiles. This was our second year of quality profiles. So the first year was fall of 2024. They were released, and that website has actually had just under 200,000 views since the fall of 2024. So very exciting. This is actually how we calculate our quality ratings, and you can see the bulk of the points are actually from those interactions. So we take all of the class scores, average them across all of the classrooms within a program from the fall and the spring, and then we multiply that number by 100, and that gives us no decimals. We don't have to worry about decimals. That gives us our quality rating points of the interactions. Then, as I mentioned about the curriculum additional points, those are added if there's at least one classroom using that at the program, and then adding them together, they will fall into one of these three different quality rating bands. So you can see there's exceeds expectations, meets expectations, and then needs support at the lowest. On the next slide, you can see that this is how it broke out across the different 100-point brackets, I should say. And so you can also see it's broken into the need support, There are 25 sites that are actually required to participate if they fall into that category into site improvement planning, which is a intense and rigorous program that supports them with coaching and engagement and an accountability buddy that I like to say, a quality consultant that supports them in completing all of the requirements. Uh, Required by VQB5. Then we've got some variability, but the most sites that fall into the meets expectations range, and then a smaller portion that fall into that right-hand side, the exceeds expectations that received those highest level of points. I have my little reminder document image or icon up at the top that, along with the slides from today, will also send along a PDF of our quality results summary page. So I think it's actually two back and front and back, one page document that details some additional analysis that we did for the different quality ratings, averages, what the state average is across the different ready regions, across different site types. And so you'll be able to see additional analysis on that particular summary document. On the next slide, it's a huge piece of VQB5 to inform families that this is happening at their particular site. And so we have a VQB5 for Families document that is available in English and Spanish for programs to share with their families that they're participating and that their site values quality and improvement. On the next slide, you can see here that as part of last fall, so the fall of 2025, as part of that release, there were honor roll designations and certificates, and it's been something that many programs have posted on their social media. They're excited about their quality achievements and the work that they've done, the progress they've made, and if they've made and achieved an honor roll designation. So really celebrating these accomplishments it was just really fun to see all of the excitement and engagement on social media and in the news in different other news outlets that highlighted all the quality care that's happening and really shows the impact of what we can do. To show families and really communicate this system is supporting high quality and growth in quality. And then on the next slide, I think you can go to the next one too, Heather, that this is our annual activities calendar. And so it shows kind of those three different participation requirements across when we register in August through the fall, which also begins in August all the way to December. And then there's the spring window of observations and information gathering from January to May. And then the summer, after we have calculated preliminary ratings, that's when sites get to preview those ratings before they're posted publicly on that website in the fall. And I think I have maybe one more slide. Yes, to connect the competencies. So I just chose one course here, but these are just a couple of examples of where there's alignment in, this is the intro to early childhood education course, the 18-week course, that I just pulled out a couple of those task numbers and what the competency was. And all of these listed on the screen here align with VQB5 and would be a great exposure and way for your students to learn and understand about the system where they live in the state that they live in. So this is just a couple of examples, but would be happy to work with you if you'd be interested in learning how to connect them to more or a particular course. And then I just wanted to share this information with you all. You can share with your students if you'd like that we do have a Virginia Child Care Provider Scholarship Program, that the application period is happening right now, March 15th through April 24th for the summer semester, and there will be a fall semester information available as well in the coming weeks. But happy to also reshare that at some of the upcoming webinars as well. And with that, where do you learn more? So I just wanted to put this in front of you all. Here are all of our websites for anything that you were like, I want to click on more. And then in the appendix, there are a couple of additional slides that provide some other details and information as well. So thank you all so much. I think my contact information is on this screen. If you'd like to be in the loop about all things early childhood, I've included this link to sign up for. We have a weekly e-newsletter that's called Readiness Connections, and it includes all information, including VQB5 information, about early childhood happenings. I think the subscriber list has gotten to almost 18,000, and so we reach a variety of stakeholders that just has an interest in early childhood care and education. So welcome you to sign up for that listserv, and please, any questions or feedback. I know I went 8 minutes over, I'm sorry. But this is my email address here, and thank you all for hanging on the line to listen, and I can take any questions or stay on after as well. Thank you.
Are there any questions for Lucy? Well, if not, since we are in the middle of the wonderful afternoon, I'm Heather Jones, and I'm your Family and Consumer Sciences Specialist with the Office of Career and Technical Education at the Virginia Department of Education. Lucy, thank you so much for providing us with the overview of VQB5, the resources that are available, and how it connects to our early childhood education curriculum in Virginia. And I want to thank all of our participants today as well. Before you log out, please stay online for just a moment because VetFacts has programmed in a brief post-session survey to gather some more feedback about today's session and about what other offerings you'd like to see in the future. And also, I want to remind you that the next session in our webinar series is coming up on April 22nd, 2026 from 3:30 to 4. It should say from 3:30 to 4 p.m. There is a way to register online on the VetFacts website, and we will follow up with you after this to provide the slides, the resources Lucy referenced, as well as your attendance certificate for today's session. And if I can get my mouse to cooperate, it is not going to cooperate today. Um, we will go ahead and close out our recording for today, and you will hopefully see that survey pop up. And if not, we will forward it to you in the post-session survey. Again, thank you for your time today. Lucy, thank you for your time and
Thank you.
preparation today.
Thank you all so much. Have a great day.